The past week has been a week of full adventure. Does anyone else feel like that?
Yes.
Okay, me too. So the week started off about a week ago, and I was preparing to go away to a retreat in Utah for this coaching I'm certified in called Habit Finder. And as I was reflecting over the past week, there were 4 lessons that I really picked up. The words that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to share about each of these, is number 1, resistance. Number 2, intuition. Number 3, patience. And number 4, finding the good in life experiences. So let's first talk about resistance. As I was packing to get ready to go on this trip and getting my bag together, making sure I had everything on my to-do list finished, running to CVS to get prescriptions filled, I came to realize I've got this habit of trying to get as much done as I can in one day before I leave. And I was feeling really stressed out. And I've come to realize that resistance is really another word for the emotion of just feeling stress. And I began to realize that if I could just recognize this emotion and this resistance and learn to let it go, everything seems to fall in place, and it did. Now, once I got to Utah, we as the coaches, there were 20 of us, and we were talking about some of our life experiences over the past year. And the word that came clear into my mind is intuition. A lot of us talked about how there's been so much uncertainty in the world over the past year. Does anybody else feel that besides me? And we talked a lot about that, and for some reason this word intuition just surged through my mind, because in my personal life and in my business life, I've made a lot of big changes, and I've let a lot of things go. I was doing 5 or 6 different things in my business, and I consolidated to 2, and I just heard that voice saying, let go of that which does not serve you, let go of that which does not bring you joy, and that's exactly what I did. Now, the intuition word came up a little bit later, because after the retreat was over, my friend Elizabeth and I decided to stay and go out and explore and go to Zion National Park. Has anyone been there before? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. Fly to Vegas and drive a couple hours. But there was one point where we were leaving Coral Canyon sand dune. Beautiful, looked like a desert. It was pink sand, coral sand. And the Wi-Fi went out on both of our phones. There was one road. And I remember, I could feel her feeling a little panicky, and then I was like, you know what, we'll take this road, and if it's the wrong way, we'll just turn around and find another way, because I felt that trust in myself. I didn't allow myself to go to that panic place. And guess what? We were on the right road, it all worked out. Now, the next word that I came up with over this past week was the word called patience. Sometimes I think when we get together, whether it's a group of friends or coaches or whatever it might be, I think we sometimes tend to look at how far along somebody else is, how come I'm not there yet. I'm really grateful, because the journey I've been on has been about 6 years now as this coach. And I looked and I saw a lot of people newer than me, but the interesting thing that I found from that experience is that whether it was someone that was just getting started or someone that's been there 20 years, I learned something from everybody in that group, no matter what their level of experience was. So it got me to see that maybe my big issue here is just be patient. Enjoy the now. Enjoy what's happening right now, because things are happening right now that we sometimes, I think, might overlook, just waiting and hoping for the next big thing to come. The last phrase I want to share with you is find meaning and purpose and joy in the journey in your life experiences. The founder of Habit Finder is a man named Robert Hartman, and he escaped Nazi Germany in 1942, and he created this whole science, the science of values. And again, this is part of what I teach and coach and talk about. But his life mantra was find the good. Find the good in everything. Find the good in people, find the good in experiences, and I got put to the test yesterday. Once I got home from my vacation and my retreat, something great about coming home is sleeping in your own bed, but I got back to what I love doing, riding my bike and getting out in this crazy summer part 2. And as I was doing that, Unfortunately, I got hit yesterday by a car when I was on my bike. So if you're wondering why I've got a bandage on my arm and why I'm kind of holding this arm a little stiff right now, the meaning and purpose in that event is this. I don't want to get hit by another car today. That's not what I mean by it, of course. But what I want to share with you is this, is that when I was in the emergency room and getting x-rays on both of my arms, one of the nurses said to me, she said, do you work out? And I said, yeah, I do. She goes, it's really a miracle that your wrist and your arms are not broken. You must have really strong bones. And the first person that came to my mind was my father, because my father had me going to the gym. He was really athletic. When I was like 10 years old, I was working out. And I've never really stopped to think that that's something that I really do it as kind of my psychological therapy. That's really probably one of the most reasons that I like to get out and ride and walk and do things each day. But it got me to see, instead of what could have happened, it got me to see what did happen and that I'm okay and I got through that. And I also have gratitude for my mom, Polly, who's not with us today, because if it wasn't for Polly, I wouldn't be standing here with a microphone right now. My mom is the one that had the speaker gene that I think I inherited, unlike any of my other siblings. So I want to share with all of you, remember, number one, follow your intuition. Have patience, find meaning and purpose in your life experiences, and notice that resistance. Thank you.